How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over a video. Who is this by? By Lead Off Leash Canine Dog Training is the name of the channel. Lead Off Leash Canine Dog Training. Getting a very unruly dog into a crate that doesn't want to go in. I will say within the first 8 seconds of this video, the dog is already screeching, yelping because this person is trying to force them into the crate and the dog is fearful. And that's not even including them introducing the dog to a prong collar. One thing I will say that I've noticed is I like that there's a nice pad on the bottom of this crate. That's probably the only thing I can say nice about this video is they have a nice, waterproof padded area. It's not just that metal, or not the metal bottom. It's not just the plastic bottom. But that's about it. That's probably so far all I can think of to say nice about this video. But we will see. We will see. I'm not claiming that I'm the best in the world. I never have claimed that. I never try to claim that. I never will claim that. I'm not saying I'm the best, period. This is just, what I see. This is a reaction to what I'm seeing. And I'm giving my response to it. And I am simply claiming what I would do differently. So even if this person makes this dog yelp, this is not a personal attack. This is just saying, hey, you don't know what you're doing. And here's some tips for people who might come to this channel looking for tips on what to do. So anyway, now that that's all said, let's get started. Warning, this dog is going to be crying.
All right, so this is Dory's first lesson.
First lesson.
She doesn't want to go into here at all. You can see this, right?
Okay,
Not
forceful.
at all.
So there was a cut there. I didn't notice that cut before. What happened in that cut?
You can see this.
Squealing.
Right? Not at all.
Okay, so she walks. Maybe she's just saving time. I don't know. But first off, the dog doesn't want to go in the crate. Every time you force this dog or you try to force this dog, even for an example, you are practicing this behavior. So you're practicing teaching the dog. The dog is rehearsing and practicing and reinforcing the mindset, the behavior, the activity, whatever you want to call it. They are practicing all of that they don't like the crate. I can make a dog who is normally fine in a crate hate a crate by forcing them in, by being rough handling, and then I can turn it around, make it positive again. I'm not saying that that's what she's doing. I don't think she knows what she's doing, but clearly, because she says she's going to introduce a prong collar. So she's just brute force.
I'm going to introduce her to a prong collar.
Very rough handling.
So now she's not so sure about it because we have the prong collar on. Let's make it so you can see a little better.
Look at that little face. I'm going to let it play a little bit more before I say something.
So
Ouch.
that's the first pressure she's ever
Ouch.
had from a prong collar. Jess got here.
Poor thing. And this is her first
Good girl.
experience.
She's going to follow me now. Good girl. Good girl. Maybe break out a little cheese whiz.
Now with this, I don't see the point in using this positive reinforcement, like this reward, at the same time you use a corrective collar like a prong collar. I just think it's nonsense. Just take out the middleman. Don't use the prong collar. But people are going to say, oh, it's all 4 quadrants. It's the positive, and oh, there's a catch pole in the background. It's the positive and the negative reinforcement. You don't need the negative reinforcement. You don't need the positive punishment, which is adding something to if a dog jumps on you and you smack the dog in the face, the dog stops jumping on you. That would be positive punishment. You're adding something to punish the dog to stop that behavior. Negative reinforcement would be I hold on to this collar until the dog finally gives in to the pressure and goes in the crate. That's negative reinforcement. So all this is unnecessary. Okay, so now she's tied to the wall with a prong collar. drops treats around it. So if she's going to go through all of this process of using positive reinforcement, desensitizing the dog, why do you have to have the prong collar? You don't. For her, the prong collar is a backup. It's just in case things go wrong, right? Like you don't, I don't know why she has the prong collar, but you don't need it. But that's like everybody's, comfort level for people who use the prong collar. You don't need it. I would have this dog wouldn't even be leashed. I don't even have a dog leash when I'm teaching them crate. I have a video on my channel of how I teach to get into a crate, which I will post up somewhere in the corner, a corner here or there, wherever it is, wherever the corner is. But you don't need to rely on a prong collar if you're going to be using this positive reinforcement. That's great. That's terrific. What she's doing now is perfect. I would have no quarrels at all if she didn't have the prong collar on. Now, I can't tell if she's applying any tension on the leash or not.
So we're just going to use leash pressure.
Okay, so she gave up very, very quickly. She gave up very quickly. Impatient. And she says, well, the dog doesn't want to go in yet. So, okay, we're just going to use leash pressure. Not just leash pressure on a prong collar. There was a cut.
So for my safety and for her safety, I put a muzzle on.
It's not for her safety, darling. It is for your safety because you are absolutely oblivious to what is welfare for an animal. You did it for your safety. I hear my baby playing under the door. We don't even get to see the dog now. So there was a couple of cuts. And she says, okay, I'm just going to force the dog in. If you have to force the dog with a prong collar and put a muzzle on just to get him into a crate, I guarantee this dog is going to hate the crate their entire life unless you teach them otherwise. It is always going to be a battle to get this dog into a crate.
Because she needs to get into this kennel. I have other dogs coming.
Well, that is your fault and your problem. I don't care. The owner doesn't care. The dog sure as hell doesn't care. That is your problem. If you should know whether the dog is crate trained or not. The dog doesn't need to put up with this simply because you are busy or you have too many clients coming.
And to keep her safe and other dogs safe, she needs to be in a kennel.
No, it's not to keep her. If you have aggressive dogs being around other dogs that are not aggressive, then that is your problem. Again, nobody else cares about your problems. I mean, I could care if you cared more about the animal, but don't give me this nonsense that it's for the animal's safety. The animal can kill itself trying to get out of this crate. They can damage themselves. They will break their teeth. They could stab their eye. They could impale themselves or choke themselves getting out of this wire crate or a plastic crate or a soft-sided crate, whatever. It is not for the animal's safety in this case. If you teach them properly, yes, the idea of the crate is for the safety of the animal. But in this case, it's going to be detrimental. And who says that this dog is aggressive? Are you going to be putting him next to other dogs? If you have so many dogs that are going to be crated, if I ever get to the point where I can accept board and train clients in my home, I will only do so with one dog at a time because I don't want to leave the dogs crated up for hours on end until I can finally get around to working with them. I'm not saying that that's what she does, but I don't like the idea of being able to abuse a crate like that.
So this is going to be our first battle.
First battle. So that means she anticipates more. Oh my God. Okay, now I work to make a pulley system. This would be much easier with another person to help. I purposely am keeping pressure on the leash right now. Or I could have it set up beforehand and you will see the process in a minute. I want you to see play-by-play with her. We're going to see play-by-play. God, this poor dog. Keep in mind, again, the muzzle is for the person's safety. The trainer's safety. Did the owner see you doing this to their dog? Because if they did, they shouldn't have to pay a damn penny. I would sue you undeniably for treating my animal in this way. That's why doing research on your dog trainer is so important. The amount of tension and pressure being placed on this dog with the prong collar on the back of the head where there's the spinal cord and nerve endings and muscle. And this dog is so terrified of the crate that is the worst of the two evils between the crate and the prong collar. The dog is actually willing to put up with the pain, not discomfort anymore, absolute pain of the prong collar before going into this crate because they have such a fear of it. And I don't know that, I think the person who suggested this said that the dog said the dog may or may not have had prior fear of getting into a crate. So this is not just the first time we're teaching the crate. If it was, then you'd be an idiot anyway. But if your dog already has a problem with the crate and this is your go-to, this is abuse. Oh my gosh. As soon as she moves forward, I release the pressure and say good. The dog doesn't give a shit about your good or release a pressure. This is very intentional and part of her learning about escaping leash pressure. You should never have to escape pressure. When you use pressure properly, and I show how to use it in every video, I link how I walk a dog on a loose leash. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand over here, but this is not pressure and release. This is abuse. If you have ever ridden a horse, it's the same idea, pressure on and off. No, because a horse would I work with horses. And I don't do this with a horse because a horse will win. Because if you put pressure on that pole, which is the back of their head, you can cause damage to it. But if you put enough pressure on them when they can't get away, they will either flip themselves over, they will rear, they will strike you with their front hooves. They can kill you. They will run over you. They will kill themselves trying to save themselves. And a dog can be similar in that instance when they are in fight or flight. Predator and prey, yes, they're different species, but they can still act the same and they can still injure themselves. You do not do this. Yeah, I'd like to see this lady try this with a horse. She wouldn't get anywhere. That horse would drag her down. I mean, I don't want to see her do it because I don't want to see this lady get hurt. I don't want to see anybody get hurt as much as it pains me to see how they interact with these animals.
Good.
Trying to paw off the muzzle because she's not conditioned to it. So how long, what was the battle between you keeping the dog in there? Did you have to tie her to the wall in order to get the muzzle off and close the door? How did you do that whole process? Okay, the leash is still in there. She's not panting because she is hot. No, duh. No shit, lady. She's panting because this is a new experience and she's nervous. She's extremely nervous. She is beyond stressed. We have stress eyes, ears back, very wide lips, spatulate tongue. Of course, this dog, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that this dog is extremely nervous because you just choked her to get her in here. This dog is so stressed. Remember, she must live in a crate here. Well, then you're an idiot. I don't care. There's no musts, if, ands, or buts about it. No, if, ands, buts, or coconuts. There's no musts with me. It's not to keep her safe. It's simply not the only reason to keep her safe. If you have that dangerous of an environment for her that she has to be crated, and the only way to crate her is to do this, then you are then you are a very poor trainer and very uneducated and you lack so much empathy and understanding of a dog. And it just keep me and my home safe. So what, do you think she's going to attack you? You think she's going to, clearly she's not going to attack you. This dog is so stressed. Oh yeah, let's make sure we wash our hands off and make sure we're okay. Crate training is learned skill that every dog should know how to do. It's not just for potty training, but more importantly for creating a healthy state of mind. Oh, really? Really? Learning how to be alone is a skill that needs to be taught. Well, that's your opinion. I mean, yes, I think it's important to be taught as well, but I'm not going to say that, your dog needs to learn this, your dog needs to do that. I know she didn't say it that way, but I'm already irritated. It can come in handy if the dog ever needs a surgery, absolutely, and requires downtime for recovery. They can do it and not freak out with stitches or ACL recovery, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I get it. Understand. This is not how you teach it. I'm going to show you in a minute how I teach it without having any leash on my dog. This dog is so stressed. This woman is an absolute abusive idiot. Lovely, round 2. Now we have the water pen in there. How long did she wait for this dog? She switched to a different rope or a different lead. She has the muzzle back on. She has the water in there. How long did we wait between sessions? How long has the dog been in there?
Not busting a move out of the crate and then gonna get her back in.
So what did she do to teach this dog not to bolt out of the crate? Did she slam the door in her face? Did she knead her in the face? Did she kick her in the face? Did she step on her paws? What did she do? She's not showing that part. I'm not saying she did any of those, but I don't know what she did. Extreme whale eyes. Panic face.
Let's go. Good girl.
Still trying to paw off the muzzle.
So I'm gonna get Dory back in the crate.
I don't know what she did in that time. That muzzle is improperly fitted. Not even conditioned to it. You got to have this whole contraption here. Tie her to the wall.
And I've clipped it to here so I can use it to clip her in from right outside the...
Okay, so she's tied to the wall. This much tension on a prong collar still. This dog is never going to know what soft, subtle pressure is.
The kennel door, and then get in the back and pull her through. She doesn't
but don't worry, we got our treats.
On because she gets squirrely, and I don't want to get bit.
Well, then if you're doing anything with the dog and you're afraid to get bitten, it's because you are doing something wrong and you are being stupid. Don't be stupid with a dog and you won't get bitten. It's that simple. I mean, it's not just black and white. There's always exceptions to the rule. But in this case, she's clearly and blatantly being stupid.
Not here for human aggression, but I don't want to get bit. So I'm going to take her off.
Well, that is your fault. Look at this poor dog.
Side.
She is terrified.
That's okay. Maybe she'll go in this time.
Drag. I don't know what that bump was.
No.
Ow. Dog is jumping, trying to avoid. And she has to use her damn contraption.
So you can see the bite risk here, right?
Because you are choking her with a prong collar. That's the bite risk. The muzzle isn't for her safety. It's for your safety. Or if it is for her safety, it's because if she bites you because you were being stupid and abusive and dangerous, and she bites, she gets that on her record and she may be put down because an abusive trainer was trying to force her in a crate with a pulley system on a prong collar on a muzzled dog who can't fight back.
Which is why she has a muzzle on.
She has a muzzle on because you're an idiot.
So now she's on a back tie.
This is shut down. Oh my God, this poor dog. This is absolute shut down.
I'm going to pull her through. Good.
This is learned helplessness.
Good.
This was her second time. You saw the first time a few minutes ago. So it's been a few minutes between getting her out and putting her back in. I don't know why you bothered to take off the muzzle. Maybe it's because so she could get some water. But she puts the muzzle back on. The collar's still always over her head. This is so sad.
Good. Good girl. Good.
She doesn't care about that. I mean, if you want to compare her to an abusive child, an abusive parent or an abusive spouse, and this is the victim, which absolutely is in this case, then yeah, when you're not, it's beaten wife syndrome. When you're not punching them and kicking them and scaring them to death and mentally, overstimulating them and mentally harassing them, when you tell them, hey, you did a good job, of course they're going to care.
Good. She's never been in a crate, obviously. Let's say she wants food. She probably doesn't.
Of course she doesn't because she's so stressed. Oh, good. Yeah, I just abused you. I choked you out with a prong collar to get you into the crate with this stupid contraption, pulley system. You have to be muzzled for my safety. But you're such a good dog. Wow, I'm surprised she's actually taking the treat.
Well, she ate it. Good girl.
That doesn't mean anything.
So we're going to try that again and again until she stops.
Again
fighting.
and
At some
again
point,
and
I won't have to
again.
have this back tie on anymore. She also knows not to keep busting out.
How did you teach her that?
Good, let's go. Unless
Drag her out.
Good girl.
Ouch. Ouch.
Try it again. She's
Uh-huh.
gonna fight. So we're gonna put this back on. But this is why she's wearing a muzzle. Oh, good girl.
Poor thing.
Good girl.
Learned helplessness.
Good girl. She has to know how to go in a crate because
Now she doesn't want food.
get it. There you go. She has to know
Okay,
how
she
to go
does.
in a crate because I need to keep her safe.
No,
Yeah.
more importantly, you need to keep yourself safe, lady. You don't give a shit about this dog's safety. If you did, you wouldn't be doing this. That doesn't mean that you can't teach a dog. If you have a must, if you have rules in your house and your dog must be in a crate for a period of time, I get that. I'm not talking about that right now. This is not the instance where we need to worry about that. But if you must have a dog in a crate, this is not how you teach them. You don't get to be entitled to how much time it takes to teach a dog to be in a cage. A crate is a cage. It's not natural to a dog.
My dog safe, myself safe.
No, it's to keep yourself safe.
Dogs need to live in crates here. Otherwise, it's unsafe.
Then you're an idiot. You have a dangerous environment and nobody should hire you. If that is that dangerous that the dog has to be in a crate, otherwise it will die. Otherwise it will get hurt. Otherwise it will get, somehow be injured somehow. I'm not saying that it's going to die, but it could be injured somehow. How dangerous is your environment? Yes, I get that you're taking in other dogs and you're taking in aggressive animals. Then that is on you. That is very poor training, a very poor training plan then. That the dog has to be, trust me, if a dog really wanted to get in and out of this crate, they would. This little bit of wire isn't going to save anything.
Nope. Let her, nope. Nope.
So that's how she did it
Not gonna
before.
slam on her. I just want her to realize she can't go out until she looks at me.
Look at her abuser.
Nope.
She says she's not slamming it, but she's closing it pretty quickly. She's hitting her in the nose with that.
Good. Let's
She's
go.
not hurting her.
Good girl, boy. Good girl.
Don't smack a dog like that.
Crazy.
I mean, don't smack a dog you don't know like that. She's already overstimulated. Smacking could cause her to be more nervous.
Good girl. Good girl.
I just made this dog yelp and cry, but I'm going to give her a treat and tell her good girl.
Or treat. Let's go. I'm not going to worry
But
about
wait, you need to use all 4 quadrants. You're an idiot.
looking back at me. Come on.
Oh, God.
Let's go. Good. Let's go.
There was a
Good
cut.
girl.
What was in that cut?
Dory. Crate. Yes. Oops. Let's go.
She just does not want to go in.
Girl.
Hits her head.
Good girl.
Okay. I've seen enough. We're going to show you. We're going to see how I've done it with my dog. Okay, so here we have my video done, I don't know how many years ago. My Shiba here, my good boy here, has since passed. He passed away, but he's still out here training people and teaching people. So
Crate, and we have our dog.
off leash, no collar, no
He's a
prong
soft-sided
collar.
crate versus a wire one. Plastic ones also. The wire ones have more ventilation. This one has 2 sides of mesh, well, 3.
He's already just sticking his little
but I
head
just
in
prefer
there.
Something softer, quieter, and it seems
I'm
more
not
comfortable
focusing
to the dog.
on
You
what's
can use-
going on. I'm not focusing on the environment. I mean, you can watch. I'm just going to mute it so it can play while I'm talking. But I'm not making the crate the big deal. I'm just standing here. I'm explaining what I'm doing. He's over here looking. Okay, how do I get a treat? How do I get a good reward? He can go in on his own, or I can toss a treat in as I'm going to do. He goes in, mark, reward, continue to put some more in. As he's in there, I continue to toss more in, or I might reward him while he's in there. And as a puppy, he would scream. He's not, my Shiba was never crated. I never crate trained him. You know, as a puppy, he would chew on the bars. It just wasn't, I didn't go about it the right way. So he was traumatized from being in a crate. He goes back in on his own. I mark and reward while he's in there. He stays in there. I continue to mark and reward. Stays in there again. I'm talking about how I'm not trying to block him in there. I'm not closing the door on him. He continued to stay in there. He's such a good boy. I miss him so much. He's just looking at me. He continues to stay in there. No collar, no leash, no prongs. He's totally naked. I don't need to have a pulley system. I'm not forcing. And he is not a crate dog. He's not a crate trained dog. I do this with any client that asks. I do it the same way. He just happens to be staying in there because he's a smart, he's a Shiba. He's a smart dog. Well, any dog is smart, but he's a smart boy and he knows, oh, okay, well, the longer I stay in here, the more I get treats. So why would I leave? He's allowed to leave on his own. Comes and looks at me, and I'm just going to toss one right back in there for him. He goes back in. He's such a cutie patootie. I'm sorry, I'm gushing over my own dog, but I miss that little boy. Wish I still had him with me, and we'd be teaching more videos about, over these stupid trainers out there. So I'm moving over to the other side so I can get him used to me being on both sides. You can tell it's an old video, poor quality. I was filming it on my phone, but so you get the idea. This is what I'm doing. I'm not forcing him. I don't need a leash. I can start closing the door.
Reward.
Mark and reward.
He can come out at this point because the behavior is done. The click marks the end of the behavior. And give him a couple rewards for staying in there. Okay. And he can come out. You can give him a release cue, or you can just wait for them to come out. I don't So, I can, I'm not worried about like a cue, right now. I just want to go in there and find a treat and, just be comfortable going in there. He goes in there. Good. You can zip it closed. Just for time's sake.
So I'm speeding up the process for time's sake.
Still in there with the door closed.
He says, excuse me. I mark when he's standing still, not when he's actively pawing.
Release him before he feels the need to panic and start pawing. And he was just testing the door. He was kind of confused.
He thought he was stuck.
Maybe I'm stuck. I don't know. He's not used to being trapped in areas. But I want to stop it. The behavior there, but with him pawing, he's telling me that we're working too fast and he's a little uncomfortable. Go ahead, baby.
He said, yeah, I want more.
So I give him the release. He's welcome to come out, or he's welcome to stand in. He'll still get a treat. I don't mind. You can go. Okay.
If I wanted to reset him, then I would toss the treat out, or I would call him out. And later in the video, I even go inside the crate myself to see what it would feel like. So you can see, put yourself in your dog's point of view. Your dog's paws.
It become a doggy prison, but it can easily be seen as one from the dog's point of view if you just shove them in there. All right, so I don't know if you can see me in here, but this is just about tall enough for me to. I can't completely stand up on my knees, but I wouldn't like to be trapped in here. For a long period of time. If I had just gone in here because I was chasing a treat and I turn around and it's closed and I can't get out, and I start to tell my people that I'm nervous, hi, baba-boo, and then they get mad.
Like, what you doing in there, Mom?
Then I would start to get more nervous. Now, thankfully, I have opposable thumbs, and I can undo this. And I can give it baba-boo. So I don't have to feel trapped. So if I were trapped in here, I wouldn't feel too comfortable either. Now, good thing is once you teach them a proper association, then your dog, you can leave it open like this.
So that's that. That's my video on that. So I'll leave this video linked up in the cards or whatever you call them up above, and I'll leave it linked in the description below. This is how I teach crate training versus how the other person taught crate training. You don't have to do it either way. You can do it any other way you want to. I'm not here to tell you that my way is the only way by any means, but if you don't want to cause your dog any harm and you don't want to scare them and you don't want to force them, then here, I put my money where my mouth is. Here is a step-by-step tutorial of how to do it without even having to touch your dog. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm sure it was hard for some of you to get through. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of each video. In the meantime, go say hi to your little critters. Say hi to for me. Give them some kind of loving that they appreciate. And until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.